Dylan Dubé's lawyer started her closing argument. This is part 3 of my day 2 recap of the closing arguments in the 2018 Team Canada essay trial. Make sure you follow so you don't miss anything as the trial wraps up. The lawyer said that even though EM had no obligation to tell her best friend about any sexual assault, the lawyer asked the judge to consider the fact that EM didn't tell her friend anything for days. Quote, she's her confidant, her best friend, yet throughout the exchange, EM is silent on the notion that she was so drunk that she was out of her mind or that she was roofied. It's been several years and it's impossible to remember everything that happened that night, and that's why the former World Junior teammates who had testified for the Crown had memory gaps. Quote, the only person who continued to work on their narrative in pursuit of her civil claim was EM. The lawyer then started talking about Dubé's over-the-phone interview with the police. Quote, what sense would it make for Dubé to talk to police only to lie or purposely omit something that was important? That defies logic and common sense. Quote, the Crown is plucking pieces of evidence here and there to ask you to come to conclusions for which they have to establish reasonable doubt. They're asking you to do the impossible. She then went on to say that her client, especially in 2018, was, quote, not a particularly polished or articulate young man, both in the interview with the police and in the group chat with his teammates, but he did the police interview because he had no reason to lie, and he didn't lie. He then also mentioned that Dubé is a reliable and credible witness whose story is backed up by other witnesses, including Steve Mergen. The lawyer then started talking about the golf clubs being in the room. Quote, it would be reasonable for golf clubs to be in room 209. He himself was holding a golf club. Quite frankly, nothing strange about that. Quote, there's no evidence he did anything with the golf club, but he didn't shy away from acknowledging he was holding a golf club at one point. Quote, that is a serious hallmark of honesty. She then contended that her client did not tell the detective that he slapped or smacked EM's butt. She then said the fact that Dubé didn't tell the police about the smacking is not an evidence of a guilty mind, and that he had the right to remain silent about that. He then went on to say that the butt slap that Dubé is accused of doing on EM was, quote, a very minor playful act consistent with foreplay. She then said that EM cannot be believed beyond a reasonable doubt. Quote, she talks about her evidence in flashes, has issues with the exact order, complains of gaps, definitely has an absence of memory about circumstances surrounding acts, and doesn't remember it kind of continuously. He then said, much like the other lawyers, that there's no evidence of collusion between the men who were in the group chat. Quote, this is a bunch of boys who were scared about what was going on. Quote, these are young boys. How else would they react that they might be in trouble because this woman came to the room and started wanting group sex? I'm asking you to apply your really good common sense. There are a number of times when participants in the group chat say to tell the truth. The lawyer then told the judge that she should consider that EM had a conversation with Maxime Comtois sometime after 3:25 a.m. in French. Quote, that's another piece of circumstantial evidence that her mind was that in the room and that she was not threatened in that during that interaction she was enjoying herself. She'll continue her closing arguments tomorrow.